Latoria could not remember the last time that anger had kindled so brightly in his ancient withered heart. "Thrice damned elves," he cursed, as he and his remaining forces fled into the nearby forest. He stretched out his dark power and felt the dead of Estalia rise to follow his commands. He knew he was vulnerable and needed to rebuild his forces before the High Elves sought to follow him and complete their assault. The only positive to their current position was that Elizabeth was not seriously injured. He would of course have to educate her regarding her failure, but she would remain a valuable member of his court. Latoria called forth bats to serve as his eyes while his forces rebuilt themselves. They flew off, and mere moments later Latoria felt them being slain. For a brief moment he thought the High Elves had arrived, but no, the bats were killed west of his current position, not east where they had left the High Elves. Suddenly the vanguard of Latoria's forces were cut down by a wave of green-fletched arrows. His red glowing eyes widened as he realized the danger he was in. "May the dark powers take all elves," he shouted, as he moved to defend his forces from the attacking wood elves. Alright, so we've got a great game. Standard battle line scenario. We do both have an extra mission. If you'll see the mausoleum building right in front of Skip, I'm attempting to unlock a necromancer with the lore of vampires as a new character. I have to get one of my characters in there and spend a turn looting it. Before the end of the game, if I do so, I get that. Skip is trying to unlock the lore of life for his caster, and he has basically something on the other side of the board, a little pool. He has to get one of his characters in there and have them spend a turn bathing to unlock that. So we're both facing very similar, though opposite scenarios, and both trying to kill each other, so we'll see how it goes. Alright, so deployment starts in the center in the forest that the Wood Elves lay down. There's 15 Glade Guard with Alethenia Shadow Dawn, his level 2 mage to Shadow. Next to that, outside of the unit, is Telendriel Greenhorn, who is his battle standard bearer. Then next to that, with the unit filler of the Magnificent Tree Man in there, is a unit of, I believe it's 26 Wildwood Rangers, so that's very scary. Then he's got a unit of 10 Way Watchers with the Way Watcher character, I think it's a Way Stalker. And then in the back, he's got his 10 unit Glade Riders, who are ambushers, and they are the ones that are his Regiment of Renown that get devastating charge. Starting with mine, I have a unit of 5 Skeletal Horsemen that have scouted in behind his forest. Not really sure what they're going to do, but they're there to take some shots. They have full command, because I had points. Then I have a unit of 5 Black Knights with full command. They have the Banner of the Barrows in with them. Then I have a unit of 3 Snake Surfers with full command. Then in the center, I have Count Latorio, who is my level 2 Vampire Lore of Fire. He's Talisman of Presed up, so he's like a 2-up, 4-up save. Behind him are 2 of the Harbingers. Then I have a unit of 30 Skeletal Spearmen. With them is Sir Sanctus Mortem, my BSB White King. And then vanguarded up is a unit of 5 Dire Wolves with a Doom Wolf in it. So I get turn 1, and I decide to go ahead and park my Dire Wolves right in front of the Way Watchers, close enough where he won't get a stand and shoot if I go into him next turn. And then I bring my mage over here to hide from the rest of the unit, forgetting that he has the ability to make me ignore armor saves on those guys, because I want to throw fire on those Way Watchers and have them die. And then everything else in the middle starts moving up. I am very, very afraid of that Ranger unit. I want to get the points I can. If I can, he's got him in a weird position to try and fit him in the forest, and I guess to prevent me from getting to my crypt there in the back. But I really want to hit that Glade Guard unit hard and kill them and his wizard, and then once the wizard's dead, I should have magical power to just fireball things. Over here, I end up getting I think I get fireball and the flame cage off, so I kill 4 or 5 Basically about half the unit of the Way Watcher, or Way Stalkers, whatever they are, Way Watchers, I think. But they have high leadership and are not going to break. And then we go into the Wood Elves' turn, and since I had actually tried to shoot at his BSB there with the archers, because there were 5-ups to hit, whatever, so he decides to go ahead and put him in the unit of the Rangers, which frankly I probably would have done to start anyway, but now he can't really move them now that he's joined there. So choosing to not move so he didn't take the strength 4 hit on every person in that unit, we go into shooting his magic. I stopped. He shoots with the whole unit at my mage, and I get lucky as a beast. I don't get armor saves, but I do roll that 4 upward save like it's going out of style, and Count Latoria considers himself lucky to be alive. Then over here, the Glade Guard open up, even with the cover from the wall, shooting at the Arakai, who he needs 6s to wound. He does end up getting 1 wound through, which I guess is a lot better than it could have been, but it was just annoying that everything stacked in my favor still doesn't let me get away unscathed. So we go to my turn. I decide to go ahead and charge my Black Knights into the front of those archers. They stand and shoot, take no damage from the stand and shoot, but as I get there, I hit the very edge of the woods with 1 guy. I take the dangerous terrain test and fail it, and he dies. So I'm thinking this may not be going the way I want it to go. And in what was probably not the best decision in the world, I decided to go ahead and charge the dogs into the Way Watchers. I'm thinking maybe I can get 1 or 2 of them dead. I didn't realize that apparently they have 2 attacks, which is kind of ridiculous, but yeah, that was pretty dumb. And everything else moves forward. I'm getting the Arakai there and the BSB so that I have the minimum possible crumble. He's got to beat me by at least 3 for me to even lose 1 guy now, so that's definitely good with the Knights. It also gives me the opportunity next turn to move the skeletons into the building, which is a Grail Chapel, and loot it for gold pieces. And then I decide to move Count Latoria over to this tower, which is a wizard's tower, so now I have access to the entire Lore of Fire. And I have a line of sight on the big unit of Rangers that are in the forest blocking me from what I'm trying to get to. And during my mighty magic phase, I hit them with a fireball and kill 2 elves. Sweet. And then we go to combat, and bad things start to happen. I end up challenging with my Doom Wolf, so his character had to accept. Character obviously kills the Doom Wolf. And then the whole unit turns and murders the rest of the dogs, so none of the dogs survive. They reform, staring down Count Latorio, and I am in a very bad position here. And then we do this combat. He doesn't get me because I've got a 2-up armor, big deal. But I'm swinging in with a unit of knights, 4 knights now, needing 3s to hit, 2s to wound, and I kill a single elf. Awesome. And of course, he loses the combat, I think, and doesn't break. So I am screwed. I really needed to kill them and keep going, and that's not happening. So we go into the elves' turn, and now the elves decide, oh, hey, there's knights over here. We should probably turn and look at them and get ready to chop them into tiny bits. That makes me not happy at all. Because now with the way they turned, even if I hit and overrun, or hit or break them and try and run, I'm going to hit the corner of that unit anyway, and I was hoping to just avoid them and fireball them and to death, and that's just not going to happen at this point. And to make matters worse, the ambushing Glade Guards, the Arrows of Einoth, is his regiment of renown name for them, have appeared and are ready to come after Count Latorio. And to make all this worse, you may notice that I do not have any other casters, so I am playing an undead army with no way to bring anything back, because my group was attacked unawares, so this should get interesting. So then here, between the shooting, I get ridiculously lucky again. And between the shooting from the Way Watchers and the Arrows of Einoth, Count Latoria only takes 1 wound. I ward saved like a beast, and I'm still alive, so I need to get the hell out of Dodge immediately. Then we go into combat here, and this is getting embarrassing. He doesn't kill anybody on my side. My knights kill, I think it's 2 more elves, and that's it. And I think the horses killed one of them. It's really embarrassing at this point. Again, either he loses by 1 and doesn't break, or I lose by 1 and I don't crumble. Either way, I'm in trouble because now those guys are going to come in on my flank, and there's nothing I can do about it. So I decided to go ahead and take my turn, because my turn's next, and park the Arakai in front of them, basically to buy the knights another turn. The knights are worth more than the Arakai, I think. If not, then that was a really dumb move. But who knows? I just know I didn't want him destroying that and kind of reforming willy-nilly. So that's that. You can also see by Sir Sanctum Mortis in the building, I've moved those guys in the building to loot. I've also started moving everything else up. My Snake Surfers, I pretty much realize these knights are going to die soon, so I want them in a position to counterattack when the knights do. And the horses are in the forest basically to be able to shoot at the Way Stalkers, because I need them dead, and I'm always hitting on 5, so who cares how far I have to shoot to do that. You also see that Count Latoria is way over on the other side. I did succeed in my roll to not be march blocked, so I run around that unit, end up behinding it, turn around, and fireball all of the Way Watchers out from under the Way Stalker, which is super cool. On the plus side, because he turned the Rangers around, I'm not in danger of any charges at this point, and potentially next turn means I can get into the building and get my mission objective done. Oh my god, we go into combat. Yeah, so we go into combat. I do nothing because the elves open up and inflict 4 wounds on me, to which I roll 3 1s on armor saves and kill 3 of my 4 black knights, leaving only the champion. Wow. And these are the archers, ladies and gentlemen. So we go into the elves' turn. The rangers are going to charge forward. They can only move an inch, so they really can't get too many guys in. But with the extra attacks he gets, because everything in my army is fear-causing, as well as just being able to fight in... I don't think he can fight in 3 ranks, because he's not more than half. But anyway, he's doing a lot of damage, and I'm very worried there. He also runs up his arrows of Anath to come after my character. His Waystalker is making a run for the back wall, hoping to get to his mission objectives so that he can earn the Lore of Life as well. So, and here's where you can see him running. Those skeletons aren't there. They're actually all in the building this turn, but he is running like a beast for the fountain on the other end, so he can go ahead and unlock that mission, like I said. And then to make matters worse, he miasmas my Arakai, so they're down 1 weapon skill, which means I'm no longer hitting on 3s. I wasn't hitting on 3s anyway. We were both hitting on 4s, but now he's hitting on 3s, which makes it even worse. So we do the combat over here first. My knights kill, I think, another archer or 2. I've got them down to less than a rank at this point, and he's not killing me, so I'm just barely winning, but he's not going anywhere. He's got leadership 8 or 9, something in that area, with the BSB right there. Then we get into the fight with the Rangers, which I think goes as well as I could expect. I ended up taking 2 more wounds. I did lose the combat, but nothing else crumbled. And then he reformed, which has now slid him down so that he gets everything in the unit on me. And at this point, those guys are absolutely screwed. So we go into my turn movement. As you can see, the horse archers have left that forest, managed to thread the needle, and are now blocking the arrows of Anath from getting to my general. My general has run into the building, and I will be foregoing my magic phase to loot this turn, so I do unlock the new Necromancer character with Lore of Vampires. Other than that, I think I slide the Snake Surfers to the side just a hair, but no real other movement. And here you see, yay, unlocked Necromancer. And for those of you asking, yes, we did make special allowances in this scenario for this crypt to be accessible by characters on horseback. So that's just something we had set up at the very beginning. And I also brought the skeletons and Sir Sanctum Mortis out the back end of the building, so they are now facing down his Waywatcher, and maybe I'll be able to chase him down and kill him before he can get anywhere. I definitely need the points because I am hemorrhaging badly. And in combat, I kill one more elf, so they are down to 2 Glade Guard and his caster. Be honest, the only reason I'm not throwing anything at his caster is I'm afraid he's got some sort of defenses on her, and at this point, like, the one wound I'm doing is keeping me from crumbling to death. So I definitely don't want to run the risk of not getting that wound through. And then combat over here goes badly. I think I had killed a couple of the rangers the turn before. I didn't get to swing this turn. They get murdered, or maybe I did get to swing. I think he killed all but one wound, and then I died to crumble. But either way, he reforms and is now facing the flank of the one knight remaining there. And then on his turn, of course, he sends all of those rangers slamming right into the flank of that Black Knight, and he is about to have a bad day, ladies and gentlemen. And then again down here, this dude is just running for the fountain. Fountain is just probably 8-9 inches to the left of this picture, so he's running as hard as he can to get there. Then during shooting, the Erzvanath open up on my skeletal horse archers and kill 3 of the 5. Then we go into combat here, and amusingly enough, it wasn't even the rangers that kill him. Finally, the Glade Guards step up and get through a wound on my 2-up armor save. They kill. The rangers choose to overrun, and in doing so, they slam right into the front of my Snake Surfers, which is, again, bad news. So we go to my turn. I decide to have the Skeleton Spearman charge the Waystalker. He chooses to flee and ends up where you see him here. I have not moved to pursue yet, but I will, of course. Then over here, my Skeleton Horse Archers basically move to act as redirectors because I'm dumb and forgot that these are the ones who don't take penalties from shooting, and they don't really need to charge, but I did that. And then my opponent reminds me that he can just murder my caster whenever. So I move him out the other side of the building, and he's hidden so they can't see him at this point. And then I go into magic phase and just go fireball, and he doesn't stop it, and I blow his mage and the 2 remaining archers that screwed over my Black Knights to Kingdom Come, so they're melty. And then in combat, the rangers absolutely eat most of the snakes. There's only 1 left. I decide to throw everything I've got into his BSB. The knight on the back of the snake does nothing, and then the snake gets 1 wound on him, and then in Stomp I get the 2nd, so I've killed his BSB. So we go to Elf turn, and the Waystalker rallies and turns to face the fountain, which is still several inches off to the left of this screen. And just for kicks, he decides to go ahead and make use of that devastating charge and throws the Erzvanath right into the side of my skeletal horse archers in what may be the single most one-sided cavalry battle ever to be fought. So we go to my turn. I declare a charge against the Waystalker and fail it, so I end up here. I think I needed an 11 or 12 to hit him. I was just trying for the long haul. But I go ahead, and this is where I end up. And this is, I believe, my last turn. I believe this is turn 6 for vampires. Yes, this is in fact turn 6, because the only other option I have is I run my mage here so that he can't get charged by anything. And I've got to go for the long bomb charge. We're very close in points. I have to kill, because his Waystalker is his general as well. I've got to kill him if I've got any chance of winning this. So I ran up to get within fireball range. And I get a great magic phase, like 11 dice, 12 dice, because I channeled. And I throw 6 dice to force through Flame Cage, land it on the Waystalker, and murder his ass. Yeah, he takes a bunch of wounds and just burns to death. However, that force through was a miscast, and Count Latorio also explodes in a ball of fiery death. And that was not good. My thoughts to kill his general and still potentially win the game did not include me blowing myself up. So I was a sad undead guy at this point. As the banner bearer of the undead retrieved the fallen corpse of their general, the leaders of the Rangers revived the fallen Telendriel Greenthorn and Alenthea Shadowdawn. The elves then performed ancient rituals to ensure that the bodies of their fallen brethren would not be used as fodder for the undead in the future. The Rangers had performed well against the walking dead, but had been unable to stop the vampire general from raiding the crypt within the woods they protected. It appears they were after a tome of some sort, Alenthea stated, coming out of the now open crypt. I'm not sure what it held, but if the humans buried it so far out of their homeland, it must be one of great power. I'll report this to Falgren, Telendriel said, wiping some of the caked blood off her left cheek. Take the Rangers and the heirs of Anath back to the main camp, and I'll meet you there. I need to confer with him as to how to handle this new incursion upon our lands. It's bad enough that the lizardmen are here, but now the dead walking, and reports of militant elves as well. We need to respond to this. Understood, but perhaps it's time to wake Drusilla. The Dryads would respond well to her, and she would be the key to waking the larger spirits, Alenthea stated. Indeed, perhaps they have slept too long, Telendriel whispered to herself, as she mounted her eagle brown claw and headed towards her betrothed. So I gotta say, this was a great game for Skip. Definitely solid victory. Wood Elves ended up just trouncing me. And he ended up gaining 14 gold pieces and inspired leadership for his trouble, which means that the next game the Wood Elves play, they are going to get a +1 to leadership across the entire army. And so rough second game for Count Latorio, though not without its gains. He did not win, of course, but I did manage to loot 13 gold pieces, and because I got my crypt, I have gained a new necromancer named character whom I have not come up with a name for. So if there's any interesting names out there, I'd be willing to hear them. As well as unlocking the lore of vampires for that necromancer. I did lose, so on the table that I rolled to lose, it turns out that the Wood Elves, the next time we play, will cause fear to my army, which isn't all that big a deal, but it does essentially make his entire army immune to my fear now, so it's me basically paying for points for a power that I have zero chance of getting any use out of. So, definitely not great. I definitely think the lore of fire is the way to go against Wood Elves. That was incredibly useful. I really wish that instead of the BSB I had gone with another caster with the lore of Nekar. If I had put Elizabeth in there, I think I would have been in much better shape. But other than that, it was a very fun game, very interesting, definitely a very different style. This is the first time I've actually gotten to play against the Wood Elves, so I really wasn't sure what to expect. Skip totally went the right way in putting that big old brick of Rangers there, because everything in my army causes fear, so why not? It definitely just took apart my armored guys, and the way things went, my spearmen ended up being just a non-concern. So, not that they would have been that much of a big deal anyway, because they're core, but that ended up keeping Sir Sanctus Mortem completely out of the fight for pretty much the whole game. So, definitely good going, Skip. This is one of those rare occasions where he has beaten me and he's earned it fairly. He played a hell of a game, and definitely got to give it to him. The Wood Elves certainly seem to be his army. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Please give some congratulations to Skip. I know he was pleased as punch to have won this one, though he was a little miffed that he didn't succeed his mission because of my freaking Hail Mary fireball there at the end. But all in all, it was a good game. Leave any questions or comments down below, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. Otherwise, we'll catch you on the next game. Thanks, guys.